In the life of young couples. In a lively town where the sound of traders filled the market square and children's laughter carried on the wind, two young souls found each other. Amara was gentle, her smile as sweet as the pastries she often baked for her family. She dreamed of opening a bakery one day, where the smell of fresh bread would welcome everyone. Her days were filled with laughter, though she carried a quiet determination in her heart. Chaik was thoughtful and calm, an apprentice at a small printing shop. His hands were often covered in ink, and he loved the sound of books being pressed, each page holding a word of ideas. He admired Amara from the very first day he saw her carrying a basket of flour through the busy street. First steps together. Their friendship began simply. Chaik would stop by Amara's family home with little booklets from the shop. She, in return, offered him warm pastries straight from the oven. Conversations grew like vines, winding through laughter and stories about their dreams. One evening, as the sun set in golden hues, Chaik asked softly, "Amara, if you open your bakery one day, what will you call it?" She laughed. "The House of Sweet Smiles. Because food tastes better when people are happy." "And when I print my own book," Chaik replied with a grin, "I will dedicate the first page to you." Their words lingered like promises carried by the breeze. Building a home. When they finally married, their new life together was not filled with riches. Their house was small, with a clay floor and a wooden door that creaked in the wind. But it was a home, their home. Amara would rise early to knead dough, her hands moving in rhythm as Chaik prepared to walk to the printing shop. Sometimes the mornings were slow, and the dough didn't rise as she hoped. Sometimes the ink machine broke at the shop, and Chaik returned home tired. But instead of complaints, they shared comfort. Amara would say, "Tomorrow, the bread will be better." And Chaik would reply, "Tomorrow, the press will be smoother." Together, they made each day lighter. The little things. Life brought them small joys that became treasures. The evenings they spent under the mango tree, telling each other stories of their childhood. The way Amara would tease Chaik for his ink-stained fingers. The laughter when Chaik tried to bake bread and ended up with flour all over his face. These little moments stitched their love tighter than gold or silver ever could. Trials and lessons. There were times of worry too. Some weeks, Amara's bakery sold only a few loaves. Chaik's pay was small, and bills piled up. One night, Amara sighed as she counted her coins. "Chaik, will we ever have enough?" He took her hand gently. "Amara, we may not have much, but we have each other. That is enough to carry us through." Her heart softened. She realized that true wealth was not measured in coins, but in the peace and joy they created together. The joy of sharing. As the years passed, Amara's bakery grew. Children came for sweet rolls, traders bought bread for their journeys, and travelers spoke of her famous pastries. Chaik's printing skills also improved, and he started designing little books for schools and families in town. Together, they became known not only for their skills but also for their kindness. Amara always gave bread to anyone who had none. Chaik often printed books for children at no cost. When people asked why, they smiled and said, "Because joy shared is joy doubled." Moral of their journey. Amara and Chaik's story was simple but true. Love is not found in grand things, but in the little moments. Marriage is not about never facing challenges, but about facing them side by side. True happiness is not in wealth alone, but in kindness, patience, and the joy of sharing life together. And so, in the lively town where their journey began, their story became a quiet folktale told to young couples, a reminder that the strongest homes are built on love, laughter, and simple acts of care. Sparkle's moral: a happy life is not about riches or perfection, but about love, patience, and kindness.